For generations, this campus has stood as a beacon of learning, a place where dreams take shape and futures are forged. It's in these halls where the air feels heavy with history that students discover their passions. Each path walked, each step taken, tells a story of ambition, perseverance, and community. But Rockford University is more than a collection of buildings. It's a living, breathing testament to growth, to progress, to all that is possible when we come together. It is the quiet strength that carries us through each season, and the spark of inspiration that drives us to pursue new heights. The faces may change, but the spirit remains one of curiosity, determination, and hope. As we look around, we see a campus that has supported us, nurtured us, and inspired us. A campus that stands resilient, just like its people, always ready for what comes next. Now we stand at the crossroads of what has been and what could be, a future that promises even more, a future where our campus continues to inspire, continues to thrive, and continues to be a home for generations to come. Just as it has shaped us, it will shape those who follow, offering them the same opportunities we once had. Together, we have the power to shape that future, to ensure that Rockford University remains a place where dreams are nurtured and new stories are written. This campus, these moments, this legacy, it's all in our hands. Because together, we build not just for today, but for the endless tomorrows that await. Rockford University, always moving forward, always home.
That is us, folks. That is us. Thank you very much. And here's the thing. I believe every word of that. We feel very, very passionate about who we are and where our direction is going. By the way, that was produced by this young gentleman. He created, right here, Tanner Elliott created that for us. I could not have paid an outside professional firm to do a better job of capturing who we are. So, as you know, I'm Patty. I have the great privilege of serving as the 19th president of Rockford University. I want to begin this State of the University address by reminding all of us of something really important. A lot of people have heard me say this before, but it bears repeating. Rockford Female Seminary, Rockford College, Rockford University, this is a special place. This is an honest-to-God special place. We've been a part of the Rockford region almost since the inception of Rockford itself. We're one of the oldest institutions of higher education in Illinois, and we're a major employer in this city. We have been led by women before women could even vote, which is pretty cool. And that Jane Addams sense of social responsibility, that's in our DNA. We've graduated tens of thousands of young people who have gone out into the world and become business owners, scientists, educators, CEOs, homemakers, actors, clergy, nurses. I'm looking at some of those young people who graduated from this place 50 years ago and made such a huge impact on the world. So, what's the current state of this incredible institution? Well, it's been a difficult year, and it's been an incredible year. And yes, both things can be true. So let's start with some of the difficulties. Here's what you need to know about these difficulties I'm referring to. Most of them, overwhelmingly, were due to outside forces over which we have no control. These were not self-inflicted wounds, folks. We definitely got tossed some curveballs. For example, the federal government really messed up the FAFSA application. I don't know if you're aware of that, but that mess up by the feds probably cost most institutions 10 to 20%. Perhaps as much of their incoming class, particularly when you have a high percentage of first-generation students who struggle to begin with, getting through, navigating that process. To have such a messed up federal form, they had no idea if they were going to get any aid or not, so they just pulled out for a year. So that hit us hard. Protests, unrest, on college campuses throughout the country that made national news, freaked out a lot of families, right? So again, people are, stand back, maybe not this year, we'll think about college next year. That contributes too to this growing crisis of trust in higher education, which is the worst I have seen in 40 years in higher ed. Higher ed for all of my life was, it was prestigious. You have a job in higher ed, and it was considered special. Higher ed's taken a lot of lumps. If you read a lot of the popular press, and by the way, we've earned some of that. We have to take some responsibility, not us per se, but higher ed. We should never have allowed access to what we do become so ridiculously expensive, right? So that's on us. We also probably could have done a better job of making a few more practical options, and not strictly options that families today don't understand. They want degrees and majors that sound like jobs, right? And so when some folks look at liberal arts institutions, which we have a strong heritage in, remember, we have a heritage grounded in that, they still get a little confused and concerned. But you know what? That's on us. Why don't we help first-generation families understand why it's cool, why it is so important that you become a member of a college that's grounded firmly in the liberal arts? So again, and that's something we, Rockford University, we can help. Now, the fact that students in our region are also able to get very good paying jobs with benefits right out of high school, that's really been a competitor to us. So all these things converge to make one of the most difficult recruitment years in our region for a long, long time. Another difficulty over which we had no control, on top of our we have a lot of deferred maintenance. We need a facelift here, right? We need to pay a little more attention to our infrastructure. In July, we had a flood of biblical proportions here, folks, and it really set us back. We did not know, up until like the last second before school opened, if we were going to be able to have our students in the dorms. Randy Worden was literally on the phone with hotels and Rockford Christian. We got it done, took hundreds of hours and an awful lot of people to make it happen, but that one storm was a financial and a bit of an emotional difficulty for us. Okay. But even though we could not anticipate some of these difficulties, we have been preparing for difficulties for at least 18 months. And what I mean by that is we have all understood this is a tough time in higher ed. We have all understood that recruitment is different today. College choice is different today. So we've not sat around thinking, well, we'll build it and they'll just still come. We have been very proactive in understanding what those challenges are. So we have been aligning our vision, our strategies, our leadership, and our resources to meet these challenges that are on our doorstep right now, and those we can't even anticipate quite yet. Now, do you know what made this difficult year so incredible? The entire campus community, faculty, staff, coaches, administrators, trustees, we've all pulled together to move forward in the absolute most positive way possible. We are not going to let the obstacles prevent us from being here for another 177 years. Faculty. Now, I'm rough on faculty. I came from the faculty, right? So I'm pretty tough. And I was a provost for a bazillion years before I became president. So I hold them to a pretty high standard. This faculty has produced an incredible number of new programs in a ridiculously short period of time. Quality, rigorous, high-demand majors, certificates, master's degrees in things like cybersecurity, game development, data analytics, digital marketing, exercise physiology, sport management and leadership, supply chain management, healthcare administration, and minors in forensics and AI literacy. So we are producing degrees that the outside world has said to us, this is what we, and we haven't sacrificed our liberal arts foundation one bit. We're very, very proud of it. I'm very proud of this faculty. Administrators are rolling up their sleeves and juggling multiple roles and responsibilities to plug the holes of positions we've yet been able to fill. So for example, I have a chief of staff who not only runs the president's office, she also oversees the external marketing team, and she's now helping kind of organize and coordinate the advancement office. People are taking on whatever we need to do to get through this tough period. Now, is this sustainable? Not forever and ever, but we can do this for a few years until we find our footing and get through this tough period. We have several new coaches who are bringing new energy and new hope to many of our sports. I told them, I'm expecting some bling. I want some teams that get me some bling, right? We need some first place championships. We have longstanding coaches who have been here, Coach Coop, Coach Calvin, and they continue to dedicate themselves to growing our athletics programs. So despite all this craziness, the challenges, the hardships, you gotta keep something in mind. We were able to bring in the largest freshman class since 1996. So that's all good news. That says we are moving in the right direction. You know what else we've done? We're the first university-level flag football team in the state. I'm very proud of that. We are so ahead of the curve on this. I was telling the trustees, I had to go to a NAC meeting or a conference meeting not too long ago, and the president of Benedictine was going, we have 3 flag football players. I'm like, I got 22. So we are really leading the way in flag football, and I'm so proud of Tim Trevier, the coach there. We were awarded $3.5 million through a state of Illinois independent colleges and investment grant to create new softball and baseball fields. That's a pretty big deal. We have installed solar panels on campus that are not only going to result in considerable savings, they're going to decrease our reliance on external energy providers and protect us from all those fluctuations in energy prices. We're this close to qualifying for HSI status, Hispanic Serving Institution. That, when we hit that, we have to have 25% of our total undergraduate population has to report as Hispanic. Once we get there, we're also entitled to a lot more federal funding that helps to support these young people. We are currently at 22.8%. So we're getting there, and by the way, we're not recruiting for that. That is the market that we are serving. You see what I'm saying? We're not specially saying we want to go out and we are serving the students who are coming to us. Our esports team, really thriving. We've hired 2 new directors for our esports department. What's kind of cool about this is they both also come from the Boys and Girls Club, and it's a great feeder program. We love the Boys and Girls Club here. In fact, if anyone's a club kid that comes here, they get an extra $1,000 off on their scholarship because we think that highly of Boys and Girls Clubs. I'm on the Board of Governors of Boys and Girls Club of Central Illinois. That's part of it. We love Rockford Boys and Girls Club. But these esports, the 2 directors, they bring with them tremendous experience, and again, a feeder program for us. So, in addition, the Rockford Promise Rockford University Growth Plan that's going to be funded by the new casino tax dollars. It made it through committee last Monday night, and now we're crossing our fingers it makes it through the full city council. What that plan has the capacity to do, and this is really important to understand why we're so excited about this, is it could increase our enrollment as much as 100 new students per year. Now, will that do it immediately? Probably not, but last year we had 92 Rockford Promise students wanted to come here. We could only afford to, 4 was all that we had promised. If this contract, if this comes through, we can serve as many as 100. And that's additional. That's not just replacing. That is additional headcount. No challenge there at all. So, something else I want to make sure folks understand. This increase to access is not in any way watering down our curriculum. It's not lowering our expectations of students. We are increasing our expectations of us, and we're meeting students where they learn. There are 125 colleges and universities in Illinois. Only 11 have Phi Beta Kappa chapters. We're one of those 11. Very proud of that. Very proud of that. You do know that's the nation's oldest and most prestigious academic honor society. There are, of those 125 institutions, there is a classification. I didn't even know we had it here, and nor did the provost, and we're embarrassed to. There's a very prestigious Carnegie classification for community engagement schools, and it's a pretty rigorous process to be accepted, right? So of the 125 colleges and universities in Illinois, there's only 10 of those, and we're one of them. And why aren't we telling people that? I mean, my God, the provost and the president wasn't aware of it. We need to tell people we're Phi Beta Kappa, we're Carnegie classification. We are very proud of the students we serve today. And it's a different student body. Make no mistake, it's a different student body. It's just how things have changed and evolved over time. We are super proud of them. Because when you take a first-gen kid and you watch them come in very unconfident, and in 4 years they're walking across the stage with a diploma to be a nurse, and their mom and dad, who maybe have a high school diploma, are in that audience, you realize what we do, that's transformational, right? I have a thing about Harvard. Harvard could not do what we do, right? If you got to come into Harvard with a 4-point, IQ, or I'm exaggerating, of course, but you have to come from a family that has given you every opportunity to learn and to study. We take kids who have struggled a great deal, and when they leave here, they are as polished and as savvy and as prepared for success as any kid that can go to Harvard. And we're proud of that. So, let me see, I get all excited. You can't tell I like what I do here, can you? At all. Several important and very comprehensive initiatives I want you to understand that we're pursuing this year, which is why this is going to be another tough year for my team, for the staff, for the administrator, for the trustees. We are engaging in a university-wide preparation for our upcoming HLC visit. That's our accreditor visit. That's a university-wide 2.5-year to sometimes 3-year process. We are rolling out the upgrade of our ERP and SIS, our student information systems. We have not upgraded our tech stack, ready for this? 20 years. I ask anybody in here with a business, could you operate your business on 20-year-old tech? In fact, we don't operate in real time. I have a CFO who tonight is probably going to have to go home and crunch some numbers. If we had a system that he could easily work with, he could produce the documents I would like him to produce by tomorrow, like that. We are handicapped by our inability to operate from tech. We're changing that. Those of you who have ever done one of these installations, you know that's a big lift. That's a big lift. Also, we've got to complete a new university strategic plan. The board's going to be giving us some info and direction on that, hopefully tomorrow. And then also, we're requiring university-wide ALICE training. Let me explain what that is. It's a training and response program that teaches everyday people how they can survive a dangerous or violent situation. Not trying to raise anyone's fears or concerns, but in the year 2024, every college, every high school, every institution should have a plan. If we had an active shooter, what do we do? We need every employee here trained. And that, again, is going to be an entire university-wide rollout. So even though we have had a difficult year, I hope you can see it's also been an incredible year. We probably got another rough year or two, mostly because the world outside and higher ed, you do know that a lot of small private colleges are going under, they're failing. The sad part is, do you realize that some of those schools that will close with $150 million endowments, but they can't touch them because they're restricted. I will be going on a little bit of a road trip in October and November, meeting with alums, prospective donors, companies, to invite them to invest in Rockford University. And while I will accept generosity from anyone for any reason they like, and usually it's a scholarship or naming a building, whatever that is, but I will tell you, I will try my best to make the argument that if you can invest in us so that we can build our crumbling infrastructure, man, we've pipes are not sexy, electrical is not sexy, new roofs are not sexy, but that's the kind of thing we need revenue to help address, because this physical place is, it's two things most important: our people and this physical plant. And so I will be going on a road trip. I may be knocking on some of your doors. But this entire community is pretty special. And like we said in Tanner's wonderful video, we have to stay positive. We have to be a beacon of learning for another 177 years. Man, we owe it to this community, we owe it to our alums, and we owe it to the millions of kids who will never be successful if they're forced to go to a big state institution or they can't afford an Ivy. We can't let schools like ours disappear from the map. So I am extremely happy to be here, so happy to see how many alums we have returning. And with that, I would be happy to take any questions people might have.